angry.
Yeah.
Angry. We're gonna do a speed round of how was your week? The weekend update.
Yeah.
I think that might be taken by SNL, but
okay.
Speed round. Just a quick little run through of any noteworthy events from the past week.
Yeah.
You got a list of them?
Heck yeah.
You got a list of them?
Yeah, just run it off from the text group.
Dude, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Let's hear it. All right, ready? Devon, go.
All right, this is week number 1 of No Shave November, so you can see it's nice and patchy.
Yeah,
good.
Same.
Oh, another thing I've been digging into for the past couple weeks is investing in Robinhood. And I've been seeing a little, the returns are actually happening, so that's good stuff. This past weekend, I took over P&W Shooters account, and you killed that a couple features. It was super cool.
Well done on that.
Definitely going to the next Shooters event. We all should go. I agree. Super cool. And then book flights to Hawaii. So Connor and I are peacing out to Hawaii for this upcoming weekend.
Thursday night, baby. Thursday through Sunday, short and sweet.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, sad. All right, Casey, you're up. Let's hear it.
35 seconds. That was good.
Honestly, this week wasn't super interesting. I bought tickets to Milwaukee today to visit my sister before she graduates.
Love that.
Cool.
So I'm leaving December 6th.
Before she graduates?
Yeah.
Does she graduate in the winter?
She's graduating in like a month.
Is she graduating school or the training? Or isn't she doing like Olympic training?
Yeah.
Dude, also, she got sponsored.
Yeah. So my sister is like
sponsored.
more
That's
of a
so
badass
cool.
than I am, which is
Wait,
rough.
for archery?
Yeah.
She got sponsored for it, dude. And you were saying that she's injured right now and she still is getting sponsored.
Yeah.
Like,
so the company was
cool.
like, yo, your socials are hitting it, and obviously she's a dope archer, so
Dude, she's
Feel
incredible.
bad for the guy that dates her.
I know. Dude, I told you, she reached out and asked me to be on the podcast, so we're gonna have her on the podcast. Okay, let's see. I know, I'm really excited for it. My week, I rested this Saturday, which is super important. Watched the Logan KSI boxing match, which was really interesting. We can dive in it later if we want. Yeah, booked flights to Hawaii, man. Super awesome. Love that. Dan, you're up.
Under 10 seconds.
dang.
I was able this weekend to go to Mac and Jack's. I think it was Mac and Jack's, the brewery.
Yeah.
Did that with some friends.
Is that in Woodinville?
It's in Redmond.
In Redmond. Oh, okay.
It's weird how small that place is because Mac and Jack's is everywhere. It's like a tiny. It's like as big as this apartment.
Yeah.
So I was able to hang out with some really good friends. Hung out with Connor last night or Sunday. And then just chilled, man. It was a good weekend.
Yeah,
good weekend.
Heck yeah.
So, the next thing we were gonna do was let's play a game. So we're gonna play that game.
Dude, I would love to
do
play
it.
a game.
Let's play the game.
Come on, dude. What's the game? Talk us through it.
The game it's not really a game.
That's awesome.
I was gonna do like the Know Your Bro kind of thing from Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah. For another time.
Probably for another time.
Okay.
So I switched it up a little bit, and I sent these guys a text saying, come up with a story of something that you did when you were a kid that your parents didn't know about. That
parents and or siblings.
siblings that you probably would have gotten in trouble for then, but now that you're an adult.
Yeah. Interesting. That's a great question. I love it.
So I mean, just go for it.
Okay, I got one.
He's got one.
Okay. So
Tons of them.
yeah.
Either way, buddy.
Okay, so this is something that I do not think my siblings know about. At least my sister. It involves her. So we grew up on top of a mountain, Cougar Mountain, and we had a lot of wild animals that would come through. Do you guys know this story?
No, I don't.
Oh wow.
This is all
I'm
new.
pretty sure you totally know the story. But yeah, so we had a lot of wild animals, specifically coyotes that would come running through.
Cougars?
And so we also had, there were cougars. We never saw them, but they were around. We also had 2 cats. They were my sister's cats, and she loved those cats. And I also loved those cats. So my dad and I would always joke whenever we hear the coyotes howling, we'd get them all, spread some barbecue sauce or ketchup on them, kick them out of the house and see if they ever came back,
Wait, you actually put barbecue sauce?
Okay, just hear me out. Okay, hear me out. So it was always joked about. I know.
It's your sister's
I
cat.
know. So every single night, what she would do is these cats, they knew the sound of her voice. So whenever she would call them, they'd come in from outside and she put them away, and then she'd go up to sleep, and that was it, right? And so one night she does that. We go to bed. We're laying in bed, and I hear the coyotes, and so I was like, I used to I don't know, one cat was super fat, and I just want to see if it could survive. And so I didn't put any ketchup or barbecue sauce on it.
Just A1.
But just A1 sauce. Just A1 sauce, yeah. And I kicked him out just to see if they could survive. And they never came back.
Did you kick them out and watch them? Oh, okay.
It was at night. I kicked both of them out. Yeah. And they never came back.
Doesn't that?
And so, yeah, no.
You a little bit?
No. But what does eat me is that, no, it's on me. I'm a bad person for sure.
Can I sit on that
Yeah,
side?
I know. Yeah. So I don't think she knows. I think she just thought they somehow got out, and she doesn't know it was me that kicked them out. So anyway,
is she gonna find out in a couple days?
She better watch this podcast. Yeah. Anyway, so I've repented to everybody except for my sister.
The one who matters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But honestly, the thing is, we don't even know if the coyotes got them. They could have just found another home, you know. We're all just oh yeah, for sure. Anyway, so
super believable.
Yeah, I'm a bad person, but
Dang, that's a good one.
Cats,
wow.
All right, Dan, what do you got?
All right. So when Dan sent this text, this one always pops into my head. So what it is every year right around this time of year, Thanksgiving, right? What are you?
He thinks I'm a bad person.
You're the worst person.
I am the worst person.
This table.
I made up for it. I bought her candles and she has no idea why, you know.
Oh, thank
Secret
you.
presents, I know, right? Just feeling so guilty about it. Anyway,
all right, let's go for it. So right after Thanksgiving, we always would set up all the Christmas decorations back home in Chicago. And throughout that month and a half period where we're getting to Christmas, presents start loading up under the tree. And as the presents are stacking up, they all have our names on it and stuff. So I would wake up in the middle of the night, sneak downstairs, get some Scotch tape, some scissors, and take the presents, cut along the tape seams. So right as you tuck it in, so you cut the 3 pieces of tape, slide the present out, see what you're getting, slide it right back in, fold everything
True
back
engineer, man. Look at that, down to the T. Ridiculous. Okay.
So folding it back up, and then you put the same size tape over each of the 3 pieces, right? You literally cannot even
Flawless,
tell.
yeah.
Would you measure it out like rulers or just?
Not rulers. I mean,
Yeah.
if you get it close enough,
Did your parents ever figure it out? No.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've definitely told them.
Oh, you have told them. Okay.
But so I elevated this whole scenario when my little sister wanted to know what she's getting for Christmas. So the entrepreneurial self in me took advantage of this, and I had her pay me to find out what she was getting for Christmas.
Dude, just wild. Are you serious? Oh my gosh.
How much did you make?
I don't know. I mean, she 50, $60 at Christmas.
It was bad.
It's like $4 or $5.
And as a kid, you know, you're just
That's good
rolling.
money.
Yeah, it is good money. Yeah.
Well, okay, so this is my question actually. So did your sister know that you were doing this? Did you tell her? How did she find out?
Yeah, she knew the whole process. I would break it down for her. I think
Is she thinking you're like Santa or something?
Yeah. Just like
that beard, right?
Yeah, right. The No Shave November.
No, but yeah, that's my story.
Wow,
Yeah, I feel
that's just rude.
No,
I don't know.
it's wise.
It's
I like that.
It's wise.
I mean, I
It
feel like
is
it's going
wise.
back
It
to
depends
the
on
ruining
the
surprises.
person. But again, yeah, that's what we're talking about. We talked about this, and it's do you like surprises? Do you not like surprises? For me, that would be I wouldn't enjoy that. I love surprises, you know, and so I guess for you that's your thing, man.
I mean, I'm usually disappointed when it comes to a present anyway, so I totally get where you're coming from though. But I used to I don't really have a lot that I would do that I think my parents would be upset about. And because they were just usually involved. But I would do it too. I would do stuff to my siblings, to my brothers, just to kind of mess with them. And one of the things that I loved to do was we would get in trouble when we wouldn't have our rooms clean enough.
Right.
Same.
Clean enough, right?
Yeah.
My mom always said, go clean your room, and then we come back 10 minutes later and she'd be like, I'm gonna check it to make sure it's actually
it just gives you immediate anxiety, you know.
So
20 minutes.
So if I was ever mad at my brothers, I would go into their rooms and I would mess things up. I would move their lamps over just a little bit so they couldn't reach it. Couldn't
So
reach
is
the
this
switch.
after? So your room's clean at this point, but they also clean theirs.
No, it wouldn't. It would just be whenever I would be upset, because my mom would.
Wow.
It would just be like random times.
Dad's like,
Like,
hey, Mom, can you check the rooms to see if it's
I know, right? Yeah, it's like,
kind of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I would like take books like off their shelves and just like put them on the ground, like unfolded.
Wow.
So my mom
like,
would go
okay,
in there and be like, you need to go clean your room. Like
See,
you're gonna
okay,
get in
wait,
trouble.
wait,
You don't clean your room.
I want to bring something up.
Yeah.
If he says it's clean and there's literally a book lying in the middle of the floor, like, is that not too obvious? You know, your mom's like, wait a second.
What is going on?
Right? Yeah, like.
And you're just standing in the
I know,
doorway behind her,
so
like, oh,
yeah, the freaking book.
You
dude.
believe
and
in
it's the
dirty-
Bible of all, you know,
Have you
like,
seen the
are
movie
you?
Interstellar?
Yes.
It's like knocking the books off the bookshelf.
behind. Yeah, just so proud of yourself. That's awesome.
I mean, no. I would do more than that.
2 books?
No, like I'd go, I'd like dump like half their laundry basket in the middle of their floor.
But like, is that?
They'd go in there and be like, "What?
Yeah.
How did my laundry get out here?"
And it's like to this day I still do it. That's so.
But
cool.
like, I mean, I think I said this before, but I would, I would move their lamp so they couldn't reach it at night, 4 in the morning, or I'd move their alarm clock just so they like when they couldn't reach the alarm, which I still think is hilarious.
Yeah. Dang, dude.
And so that's something I would do to them. I'm not gonna say all the time, but I mean, pretty often.
Wow. I love it. Casey, what do you got, man?
The only thing that I could come up with, because more or less everything I did, my parents either found out pretty quick or my sister.
Same.
Yeah.
The only thing that my parents actually still don't know about was my senior year of college. I decided to take a trip to Miami for spring break.
Wow.
And took all of my tax refund money that was supposed to be going towards my loans for this trip. And they're like, oh, like, you were working a couple part-time jobs or like DJing.
So they knew you were going to Miami and they thought you...
Well, yeah. And I went to Ultra on top of it. So I went to like 3 after parties, Ultra, and airfare to Miami. I also didn't eat much that trip because I didn't have
I know, right?
Because it's Miami.
Living off of fresh air,
so expensive.
Yeah, so they have no idea I went to Ultra.
Wow.
They know that I went to Miami and went to a couple shows.
Worth it?
Yeah, but yeah.
Ultra was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna
It was
say. I
crazy.
mean, it's just a
Dude, I found out a really interesting fact today about Florida in general. I heard that there are no more like raccoons, like even like deers and like pythons are taking over everything, and they're at the point now where there's so many pythons in Florida that they're starting to eat like alligators, like just.
I saw
Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
Completely wild.
Did you hear why that is?
No.
It's because people in the Everglades would get, or people in the Florida area would get like baby pythons as pets. And then they would grow like
This is like classic
animals
Florida,
do.
Yeah.
And they would get too big for their houses, and then instead of like taking them to a shelter or animal services, they would just go out to the Everglades and just be like, all right,
go have fun.
see you later.
Wow.
And then they multiplied a ton. It's like the same situation with the iguanas down there.
Yeah.
It's just
because they're like
it's an
the
invasive
iguanas
species.
Are they not native to
They're brought in, I think.
A lot of them are brought in, but they breed so much that there's too many. There's now a law where if you see an iguana, you can just
They shoot like on site because they're digging.
on
They
site.
dig under the houses.
everywhere in
Yeah,
Florida.
yeah.
exactly. They like
So you're bored.
I know, right? Go have some
But that's
fun,
the
you know?
thing.
Put some barbecue
that's
sauce
the
on
same
them.
deal.
Yeah. I heard the last thing though. They found a Nile crocodile in Florida. It's shoot on sight if seen. It's somewhere in Florida.
Wait, why?
Somebody
Are they
just
massive crocodiles
somebody
or
just
something?
brought them over.
What's the difference between a Nile crocodile?
I think it's just the sheer size.
Do you see them in a while?
in the wild?
The Nile crocodile.
Oh, I have no idea. Really quick.
Well, let's,
I
okay,
think
so
we keep going. Let's
so
keep
like
going.
let's talk about what happened. Like this week in Seattle. Okay, so the Sounders game happened.
Yeah,
I guess not the Sounders game. The MLS championship.
bro. They won the MLS championship. Huge deal.
The parade. The parade was today.
Yeah.
The parade was today.
I kind of like your way better.
And I guess there were thousands of people just storming the streets of Seattle.
I believe
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Which is probably another reason the traffic was so bad today.
Is that what it
do
is?
No,
Dude,
Maybe.
do you think they shut down 520 like completely today because of that?
No, I would hope not. I think they're done in
it
Pioneer
was for a
Square.
period. Yeah, it was.
Wow.
What? What'd you say?
It was never mind. All right,
Yeah,
let's keep going.
They won 3-1. It was a good game, man.
It was the largest MLS attendance in Washington State history.
I believe it was 69,000.
69,000 people. It was bigger than any Seahawks game, apparently.
But their record is 72.
Can't the stadium only hold 60,000?
Yeah, how are they getting higher?
I think it's 72.
It's 72? Oh, wow, that's so cool.
Wait, look that up.
I'm actually going to look it up, yeah.
Maybe it was bigger than regular season Seahawks games.
Okay, yeah, I feel that. That's wild.
I can roll with that.
Here, we can throw the number up right here.
Yeah.
All right, there it is.
Love that. What else happened in Seattle?
Seahawks had a huge victory over the 49ers.
Overtime.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Undefeated
also,
49ers.
Something that we were talking about when we were waiting for you. Did you watch that video, the coin toss?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Oh, the Laurel Yanny.
Dude. So can we cut that in here?
So
do you guys comment what you hear? Because I heard both.
Geno Smith is out here talking 72,000?
72,000, yeah. Okay,
Nice.
That is freaking wild. Okay, really quick though. So the first time I listened to it, I heard heads. Listened to it again, heard heads, and then I heard
It's
tails.
like if you listen to the end of what he says, you hear the end of tails.
I heard
and then
tails the first time I heard it.
Really?
So I was super
So just
confused.
for reference, so the backup quarterback for the Seahawks,
Geno Smith,
he did a coin toss, and the ref says, "Hey, heads or tails," and he says a word that sounds like both heads and tails.
I think he said Teds.
No, it's the opposite. Because you hear the ales.
Tails.
It's tails.
I didn't hear the ales. I heard it is.
Okay, but here's the question though. Let's say, how does that help him? Because the ref clarifies after.
So the ref says it after, but he flips the coin almost immediately after, and right once the coin.
He didn't have time to be like, no, that's not what I said.
But that's what I'm saying. Because it doesn't matter what, as long as he clarifies before the coin toss, then it's like, what's the point of him doing that?
Well, I guess, the whole point of it is, it's chance, right? There's a 50-50 chance that the Seahawks are getting the ball. So
I love that
it's
you're getting so much.
what he calls
This is his true skill set. What's that called? Ventriloquist or something?
Ventriloquist.
Yeah, hey bro, you chose the wrong career. Yeah. What else? Anything else? Seattle this
I had
weekend?
a couple things. Oh, well, Veterans Day.
Veterans Day was
Huge
huge.
deal.
Oh yeah, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. I was actually listening to the Jocko Willink podcast today, who's a ex-Navy SEAL, phenomenal podcast, really
I've heard about that,
inspirational. Really great guy. Yeah, let's talk about Veterans Day. My dad was in the Navy. My grandfather was in World War II.
Okay.
My uncle was in Vietnam. Got a lot of people in my family that were in the military.
Wow.
And,
Did they feel special and recognized and honored on Veterans Day?
I think so. I think so. My uncle was kind of really doesn't talk about it. So I'm not gonna say much about that. But my grandpa doesn't really either. But
Yeah.
I think they both know that they're everybody's they're very respected. Everybody's so grateful for them.
Yeah.
Especially in my family.
Right.
And these three men are some of the greatest people on the planet in my eyes. These are my three heroes. So thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so
I don't know if you guys
much.
have anybody who was in any armed forces.
mine.
but-
I don't have direct relationships with anybody. I've got a bunch of friends that are either serving or have served in the past. But
Thank you for everyone that has served.
Thank you for your service. We appreciate it. Good stuff, man. That was Monday, right? So that was yesterday.
Yeah,
so good stuff. We had to work yesterday, which was that was no fun. Did you guys get the day off?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know.
I worked.
Public, man.
I worked. Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's nice waking up at 8 instead of 6 and going, I'm getting paid right now.
You know what?
Sleep in a
The
little
bank
bit,
account is going up. That is true.
That's a really rough life, man.
Yeah.
So, let me think here. Kind of went through that. I mean, I've been thinking a little bit more of a serious topic of a turn here. Something I've been thinking about just over the weekend. I read a Instagram post from a friend of ours who is they're engaged, and she posted about him. And it was basically she was just saying that everything that he's done in their relationship has been very intentional.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about intentionality.
Yeah.
And what it's like for, I guess, each of us to live intentionally.
Yeah.
And how we can be better at that. And then what are some tips that you guys have for living intentionally? Because I feel like, and we Connor and I talked about this on Sunday, I feel like I surround myself with people who live very intentionally, being you guys. I mean, you, all three of you actually. So, I just wanted to bring that up as a topic, for discussion to kind of just see where you guys are at and what living intentionally looks like in your life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, if anybody.
So for me, one thing that sort of stands out is, we're in the stage of life that we're all in, that we all have crazy dreams, goals, aspirations.
Absolutely.
And to pursue those, you have to be intentional about that.
Yeah.
So, actually earlier today, since we were prompted that we were going to talk about this, I watched a podcast. Her name was, what was it? Colleen McCullough. And pretty much what she goes into, or she has like a bunch of examples of how doing one intentional thing to achieve a long-term goal, like one thing a day, ultimately gets you that goal. So she had like a couple like weight loss, like chronic disease, whatever. So I think the way that applies to my life, right? Someday I would love to be a full-time filmmaker, like that. Down the road, I would love to have that happen.
Right.
So I think what I was doing initially to make that goal happen was doing these weekly videos, right? Mm-hmm. Like I want to be relevant on YouTube, and like that's something that I'm passionate about. But so like making that one video a week,
right?
It's definitely really important. And I think one takeaway that I saw from this, so I'll break it down. I committed to doing one video a week till the end of the year, like a month or two ago.
Right.
And I stopped like a month ago. I was just way too burnt out. And I think my one takeaway for living intentionally is setting realistic goals.
Yeah.
And not letting other extremely important aspects of your life fall by the wayside to achieve those goals. It balances everything.
It is, absolutely. So I think one thing that I take away off even what you said there is, I think there's how do you guys think that being intentional and being disciplined combine into each other? Is that the same thing, or does that look differently in this situation?
I think it can look differently.
Yeah, but I think that like intentionality breeds discipline if you do it enough over time, right? Yeah. Like being intentional about working out every day, even if you don't want to, will turn you into like a disciplined workout machine. You know? So.
Yeah. No, I think that's so true. And I mean, back to your question, like how does this apply in my life? I mean, like we talked about, filmmaking is really important. I think people are really, really important to me. And so being disciplined and intentional on, hey, reconnecting with people, whether through all seasons of life, because that is what fills me up, brings me joy, you know. That's just what I enjoy, you know. It kind of recharges me in a sense. So I think that's one thing that just the relevancy of just being intentional and disciplined in focusing on relationships, because that's how I don't get burnt out with our other areas.
So how do you balance that then for you specifically?
Yeah, so that's a good question, because especially with how much we're just working our butts off on all these different areas of life, it's been tough to say, you know, how much it's like, does being disciplined and focusing on relationships, does that help me in my career? The answer is like not immediately, no. But also like, is that even what it's about? No, you know?
But I mean, if that's something that charges you up, like that can keep that other aspect of your life on that positive
that's where
track.
I'm going with that, is that I found that when I was like, hey, I just need to focus on being disciplined on just my career stuff, I found it started like declining. And so when I totally started putting people in my life, whether it's just like catching for coffee, the phone calls on the way home from work, it's like that recharges me and gets me excited for what I'm doing, because they give me feedback, they recharge me, seeing like their goals and passions, hearing like what you guys do. It's like releasing the album. It's like, dude, I'm so excited to do what I'm doing because of the fact that, you know, we're connected on that.
I think the biggest thing for intentionality is like, you have to find what truly makes you happy, right? Like what fulfills you ultimately. Why are you doing that? And then start putting things into action, you know, start doing stuff. And then once you're actually in kind of that momentum, then be intentional about, okay, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? How can I be smart about it?
Totally. And I think part of that, though, is having that, it's like, if you rely 100% on yourself, that's not going to work. And we talk about this all the time, as accountability is so important. Having those guys to keep you disciplined, keep you intentional.
And the community around you, too. Having the right people to keep you accountable.
Absolutely.
Because if you're just having, you know, Joe who lives across the way here trying to keep you accountable, and what does that do? It doesn't help you.
Be wise about the people you have in your life, for sure. Yeah. Good question, man. Absolutely.
Also, I mean, the other thing that I've been thinking about with this is, I mean, living intentionally and disciplined isn't always about the career or the passion, and I think that's what I like about what both you guys are saying is sometimes it's, you can live intentionally in different aspects of your life, right? So you got the career, you got what you're passionate about. You got relationships. You got being very intentional about exercise, and so I think it's important to kind of keep that in check. And I think the discipline comes in with that too. Is if you're living intentionally, you're going to be disciplined, and if you're if you're staying disciplined and doing these things the right way, it'll benefit you greatly as a person, as a friend. As a in your relationships, a husband, a wife, boyfriend, things.
Totally.
I was gonna say brother, but no, I think it's a good conversation, and I think it's something to think about while you're going through your week,
What's one thing you can be disciplined about, and one thing that you can be intentional about through this week, right? That's just something to think about. Because I think you're right. It's just that small thing each day that slowly brings you to that greater goal, whatever it is long term. But
give us the word of the day, Dev.
So word of the day is pertinacious.
Pertinacious. Okay. Using a sentence.
We all need to be more pertinacious about our dreams.
Oh, and it is.
I think it means something along the lines of intentional.
Yeah. Any thoughts?
Like proactive.
Okay.
I can see like hardworking.
Pertinacious.
Yeah, like tenacity.
I think of like pertinent.
I was thinking
important.
You think pertinent? I was thinking tenacity.
Tenacity.
Let's mix them together.
Yeah. What do you got?
So it's holding firmly to a course line of action.
Like that.
Ooh, setting a plan. Yeah, being disciplined, setting a plan. Love it. Cool. All right, quote of the day, baby.
All right,
end with this guy.
In honor of Veterans Day, picked a quote from our favorite president, George Washington.
I had the same birthday as George Washington.
That's awesome, man.
That's great. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
That is crazy. So anyways, George Washington was a great leader, obviously a veteran, right? So his quote is, 99% of failures come from people who make excuses.
Wow. I think that's so applicable to everything we've talked about.
Right.
Intentional, discipline. Don't make excuses. Surround yourself with the right people. Hold yourself accountable. Hold the people around you accountable.
Don't yell that down.
They need to hear this, dude. I can tell. This is important. So listen up. I love it.
Alrighty. See you next week.
Do we have a sponsor? This week's sponsor is Smart Water.
Yeah, Smart Water.
Drink smarter.
Yeah, drink more water.
Drink more intentional.
I love it. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next week. Peace.